Last week I lost my voice. Now this week I lost my ability to use my mouth. So I think I'm gonna post the videos tomorrow when I can actually use my tongue and all this shit over here. So sick, dude. I would like to take the Cincinnati Bengals and the Washington Commanders.
Yo, here we go. Another late week, but better late than never. Apologize if you're not going to be able to get to your bookie in time to get these bets in, but out here in Vegas, we got until 10:05 on Sunday morning. So I wanted to go through, make sure I got everything right, and that I could actually speak to the camera because I couldn't really talk the last couple days. So I'm just gonna jump right in. Last week was tough, but it's one of those weeks where I'd rather lose 3 out of 6 than 1 out of 6. I'm shocked by the Packers. I'm shocked that the Bucks let the Jets come back and take the lead. Or actually, that game was just back and forth the whole time. I expected the Bucks to sort of run away with it. And I'm shocked that I think there was another cover in there that I blew. Anyway, so back to the drawing board. This week, I'm kind of going to do like last week. It's kind of a mix between, I'm not going to take all the teams ever again. As you can tell, if you would have watched that video, I went like 5-7 in all the games straight up. So that was an awful decision to put that information out there. And that's kind of the key to being a sharp bettor, is to knowing what games to stay off of. So anybody who has to pick every game every week is bound to lose. So with that in mind, this week I'm going to go ahead and just give out picks. I've extended my picks up to about 6 or 7, and I'm going to stay off the over-unders. So, yeah, and sometimes it's also nice to wait too, even though this is not intentional, sometimes it's nice to wait till Saturday because the injury reports are always part of the strategy for coaches. So when your starting quarterback is on the injured list Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the other team, starts to ease off of that playbook and starts to figure out what the backup looks like, and then maybe by Friday afternoon when it's finalized, or Thursday whenever the final is put out, then you know who the starter is. I thought Jaden Daniels would be back this week, so I'm glad I did not jump on that game on Thursday like I normally would pick my plays. Because it's Marcus Mariota back, and then they're also missing, obviously, Eckler, and it looks like McLaurin is out as well. So, just for example, all that information sort of came out yesterday and today. So sometimes it is better to wait until the last minute to get these bets in, so you can get the full injury report. Having said that, let's get started. I'm going to put these picks in rank of, I'm going to rank them in order of which I think they're going to be most successful. So if you want to cut it off at like 5, put your parlay in, or cut it off at 4, put your parlay in, I wouldn't blame you, because the odds of hitting, I have 7 picks I'm going to give you. Odds of hitting 6 out of these is, it's probably going to be pretty tough, and then 7th is going to be real tough. So you'll see that as I go down the list. Number 1 favorite play of the week, and this is one that's been a great play for us, is fading the Saints. So right off the bat, I've got the Bills. This week, I think it's super important that you remember I'm asking you to buy points. I'm buying points in this game as well. I think it opened up at like 15 and it's up to 16. So I'm buying it down to a 2-touchdown score, 14. That's a lot to ask for in the NFL, and it could be, come down to the difference in one play. But Land Clark, the ref, is a home. I'm sorry. He is not a home ref. He favors the away dog against the spread. So that's part of the reason why I want to buy points. So if the spread is 17 by the time it closes, and I had it at 14, I almost guarantee it's going to land on 15, 16. Because it's like, again, like these games, they want it to be competitive. And yeah, so even though the Bills should whoop up on the Saints, don't be surprised if it's coming down to, the last field goal for this, or the Bills push the last field goal through to make it a 16-point margin, and then we're relying on a stop to cover the spread, and some of you can't cover the spread because you might not get it until 16.5 or 17. So just something to keep in mind. and the ref is a high penalty thrower and he's an under ref. So if you want to mess with the total, as far as injuries go, Chase Young on the defensive end for the Saints is out, while Ed Oliver on the defensive line for the Bills is out. I think those guys should cancel out, and both their backups will come in and make the teams the same matchup as they were, because those are both great defensive linemen. So yeah, go with the Bills. Buy your points down to 14. If it's too late, don't take it. If you can buy more points and get Saints plus like 19.5, might be better. Might be a better bet than buying from 17 down to 15. Because again, 2 scores. I don't think they're going to win by more than 2 scores. All right, number 2 play of the day. We're going Chargers to win, and that was Bills minus the points, 14. This one we're going Chargers to win money line, straight up. And I know it's high. It's like minus 300 because they're a big favorite against the Giants, even though I believe they're at home. So let's see. So New York has a pretty weak pass defense. They've given up a lot of pass yards this year, so that'll be nice because the Chargers actually have they don't have a very high rushing totals on the season. So that was surprising to read because their offensive line has that, from what I've seen, is massive and dominant. So this week we could see kind of a John Harbaugh try to get towards that, push that rush game and get that rush game on track. But if he plays the way that they've been playing, they could win on the pass game alone because Giants have the bottom 5 pass defense. As far as Sean Hockley goes, he is an unders ref, and he favors the away team against the spread. So that's why, again, in this game, even though it's like a 6.5 point, we're gonna take money line Chargers. I like that originally, and then when I get the ref matchup, as well as comparing their defensive totals, both teams in the bottom 10 for rushing yards per game, like I said. So they have some even statistics. Nobody's really flashing on the injury report. That's making me nervous. So yeah, I'm sticking with the Chargers money line because they've been playing so great. But again, like, even if the team's a huge favorite, we found out last week that it doesn't matter. So don't be surprised if the Giants look better than you expect. This should be a pretty easy game for the Chargers, but you never know. So I'm going money line based on my findings. All right, number 3 pick, and this one's gonna be hard to swallow, but I am gonna take the Packers again. This time I'm not taking a minus 6.5. This time I'm taking a money line, and they're playing in Dallas. The Packers have a great defense. They're top 5 rush and top 5 pass defense. That's awesome. So I don't know how this Dallas offense, which has looked relatively good until they played the first half of that Bears game, looked pretty good all season. Some drops, but they have fluid, like they move the ball, and they have good matchups. They just aren't always making the play. So CeeDee Lamb catches 2 more passes this year. We know what 2 passes those are. The Dallas Cowboys look a lot different, but I'm still going to lean on the Packers. I talked about it last week, where they're a team, and especially now that they have a little chip after that loss, that they might kind of try to run the table. Whereas other teams who've been doing this for 5 years, like the Bills or the Ravens, might not take as much personal, when they have an early season loss, because they keep getting to that AFC Championship every year, and that's what's important. So a team that's just now coming up, Packers, they have a different mentality. I think they're going to come out ready to play and angry that they dropped that game, because that's, just unbelievable. As far as the statistics go for the referee, he is an under ref, and he actually, and this is another one that kind of helps us out. So he favors the home dogs against the spread. 7.5 points, 6.5 points. So we're taking a money line. That's part of the reason why. If he's going to be hammering the flags at the favorite team, and it comes down to a field goal to win it, I don't want to lose by 2.5 points. I'm taking a money line. And then in addition, The total is 47.5, and this is that ref we talked about at the beginning of the season, Ron Torbert. Anytime the total is over 47, the games go over by 10% more or something like that, 52% or 58% or something. Anytime the game's total is under total is under 47, he is majority under, by that 10%. So we got him in an over game, so we could see some scoring. I think that the Packers defense is going to be able to stop the Cowboys more than the Cowboys will be able to stop the Packers. And also, if you want to get in fantasy, this is one of my only ones, but definitely take a Micah Parsons sack or 2. That's gambling, right? Taking 2 sacks would be probably good plus money. I think he's gonna be wild man out there on the field. I can't wait to see how that game goes down. So that's my third favorite pick, and already, 2 money lines, 2 favorites money line. Number 4 is our first underdog of the day, and this one is probably going to throw people, but I think that the way things have been going for the Eagles kind of sets them up for maybe a real close game this week. They've been in close games every week, but they've managed to get it done in the end. I think that Tampa Bay is the team that poses a real threat for them. I think that they can score with them the whole game, and I think that even if you give Baker 1 minute with the ball at the end, he can still get down the field and make it happen. Just like Stafford did. He got them in field goal range, and they missed it, or they got blocked and totally screwed everything up. But essentially, that's what you're looking for. So you want that opportunity to get that win right at the end and walk away. We had that with the Rams last week. I don't think I picked the Rams, but it's just an example of the Philadelphia Eagles are finding themselves in 1-score games every game. So in this 1-score game, even though Mike Evans might be off the field, or it looks like he is out, which is something I only found out today, Godwin is back. Looks like Baker is going to play, and then they still have Ibuka is listed as available. So this is a tough one, but I am taking the points, so plus 3.5, and that's kind of a sharp number. I don't need to buy any there, but they could lose by a field goal, and I would still win the game. So again, whoever has the ball last kicks the field goal to win. I still win my bet, even if the Tampa Bay is the one with the ball last. So yeah, Tampa Bay plus the points. Alan Eck is an overs ref. He also favors home teams against the spread, but this year he's only 1-2 for home teams against the spread. So he's 2-1 away teams. So hopefully we can catch him in a trend favoring away teams this year. I mean, again, it's not always going to make a huge impact, but I'm looking for that one call in the fourth quarter where it's like a phantom call. It happened in the Thursday night game, Seattle Seahawks, Smith and Jigba got called for a crazy holding call that he got tackled by the defensive player, and they knock him back, and there you go. That's a 4-point swing. Now the Seahawks had to kick the field goal. Now they're up by 3, and sure enough, Arizona comes back and ties up the game. Now, had that ref not made that call, that's a touchdown. That's 24-17. So when the Cardinals come down the field next, they can't kick that field goal to tie it. They have to go for it. And odds are, it's like they were in a 4th down situation where they had to kick it. So it's reasonable to believe that they would not have scored another point had that ref not made that call. So it's like, Jesus, man. These guys can really impact the game. Fortunately, it was only a -1.5 spread, so when the Seahawks won by 3, they did cover. But, I mean, imagine a 6.5-point spread. That's the difference. One call is the difference. Calls back an actual touchdown on a phantom call, you lose 4 points you needed. And if you bet the over-under in that game, it landed on 43, so I'm sure if you bet the over, you got screwed by that call. Again, these guys can make a huge impact, or they can make none at all. I hate when they make a huge impact. So that's my number 4 pick. Moving right along. Next one, we got Texans. So I also want to point out that, real quick before I move on, that I have a couple of these games listed as low-scoring games, and the refs are over refs. So I thought Tampa and Philly would be a good overs game, but then when I look at not only their stats on scoring, because they're not in the bottom of the league, in passing yards, receiving, or rushing yards, but when I look at the Alan Eck being the ref, 60%, or he's got a major over trend. So this is the one game where I would have given you the under because I think it's going to be kind of tight. But since the ref is involved named Alan Eck and he's a major overs ref, we're going to drop that. I won't even pass it along. And then same as this one, my fifth pick, Texans money line versus the Tennessee Titans. I would have said that this game was going to be an over bet. I'm sorry. Got a lot of information here. So, yeah, we got Brad Rogers. He's an overs ref, and he is a big underdog against the spread guy. But that's why we're going Texans money line, not Texans minus 1.5 or 3.5. Either way, he can be himself, and I can still win. That's why sometimes you go money line. In the next couple weeks, we might find that these money lines I'm playing, the odds are better to just take the points with the other team. So like last week when I bought points for Tampa Bay and I bought points for the Packers and I bought points for a third team that ended up winning by like 3 instead of 5.5, or the Packers would have won by 3 with the field goal instead of 5.5, I would have lost that bet anyway. So if we start to see this repeating, like I'm getting the money line correct, but we're not covering, then we have to take the dogs. And we have to hope that they keep it close just like they have been. But for now, we're going to stay with the teams I like to win on the money line and then not worry about the other team, covering beyond the win. Hopefully that makes sense. But I would have said this game was going to be low scoring. That was my note. And Brad Rogers said, tells me the opposite. So stay away from the total on that. I really wanted to go back for a Titans under game because I missed them last week. And I was really upset that Indianapolis just would not stop destroying that team. I thought Tennessee would have a better defense. Now that I've looked deeper into them, their run defense is atrocious. So hopefully the Texans are planning to get that back on track this week. That's been a big weakness for them. People have been disappointed because of how good they were last year and how poorly they played in the run game this year. So with the defense, 4th worst rush defense in the league, hopefully they can make something happen. Also, one note is that the starting cornerback for the Texans, Derek Stingley, is out. So that could be, that could be up to a 7-point swing if they find that matchup and they have a receiver that can't be beat, or that can beat his corner or nickel. Missing your starting number 1 corner can be as detrimental to your team as missing your number 1 starting receiver, right? So if the Tennessee Titans can protect Ward and he has the ability to survey the field and find his matchups, they can play better than I expect, but I think that Texans will hold it down and find a way to win. Number 6, this one's another kind of head scratcher, but I'm going to stick with it. Again, like certain teams have just been in every dogfights every week, and we're going to see if they can maintain that ability to eke out those wins. And that's the Niners. We're taking the Jacksonville plus 3.5 against the Niners in San Francisco. And like, what? Jacksonville over the Niners? They got Brock Purdy back? I don't think that they're going to be much different. I think Mac Jones was a pretty good substitute. I think they're going to be pretty similar to what we've seen all year. And if Jacksonville can play that D, let's see. Jacksonville's is a top 5 rushing team, while San Francisco's a number 1 rush D. And then San Francisco's a top 5 passing team, while Jacksonville's a top 10 passing D. So we got good against good, good against good, good against good. So that's something you want to keep track of. Jacksonville is better than we might think. Maybe they're better. People are hyped on them, so I can't say better than advertised, but their defensive positions with their stats, like makes them look a little bit better defensively. So hopefully these numbers add up for me, and Jacksonville plays good D. And this was one of those games I would have put low scoring as well, but let's see. We've got Clete Blakeman, and you know what? He does not favor over or under, so I think this game's going to be low scoring, just like all the Niners games have been. So if you want to over under out of all the games, I had it knocked 2 off already. This would be my first game that I might see going under. It has the ref to back it. And this ref is also a dogs against the spread over 50, around 55%. So we got the right side on the ref matchup. And then, like I said, we got the right side with the ability of the defense of both teams to kind of just keep the game in front of them. All right, so that's my sixth pick. And my final pick is going to be the worst team, that I've bet on this year. But that's not what we saw last week. So Carolina went out and whooped up on Atlanta last week. I'm going to go ahead and take them plus 7.5. This is a sharp number right here. I like that. It does show me that they don't have much faith in the Panthers, but I don't know what gives them so much faith in the Patriots. So I'm almost betting as much against the Patriots as I am on the Panthers. But 7.5, that's a great number. Full touchdown loss, we get the win. The one thing is that the Pats do have like the number 2 run defense right now, which for this season, I didn't really expect that. Let's see. Oh yeah, okay. So the Panthers are actually plus 5.5. So that's the main key. So we're right back to the Bills kind of important note. This is another example where you have to buy points. I'm not taking the Panthers plus 5.5. That's like the grossest number. I can buy 2 points maximum and get it to 7.5. That's amazing. Yeah, I mean, I think that it is my bottom bet because the team I'm betting on has the worst record of any of the teams I've bet on all season, except maybe here the Texans. I've been betting on the Texans, and they haven't helped me out. But I think Panthers, come on, stick around, guys. Why are you up there if you're not? And again, we're gambling. Well, you got to take some shots if you're gambling. I'm a big favorites guy, but you got to sneak a couple dogs in there because last week it was like 10-2 home teams won in the first 11 games, and then in I think the night game and Monday night things changed a bit. Chicago won too. So yeah, lots of home teams last week, but there's really no trend as far as like that was just kind of crazy. I'm trying to look for little like loopholes where like, oh, is this, what did we miss this week? Did all the favorites win? One of these weekends, every favorite will win. Maybe not cover, but like every favorite will win. And we'll go, how did we not see, that's the ones where you want to catch a 13-team parlay. But it's really unlikely to do that. So like last week with the majority, like again, over 10 games, home teams winning, that would have been a huge trend to catch if you were to just round robin all the home teams. I might use these on a round robin, so I could bet like 5 out of 7 and make like 6 or 8 bets, or no, it's more than that. But I might like take 6 out of 7 on a round robin, so that way if I hit 6, I'll still win, and then if I hit 7, I'll get 7. I'll have like 7 different bets that I win. But as you know from the last 2 weeks or last 3 weeks, we're not last week, but the 2 before, we've been 1 away. So if we can be 1 away again, I think I'll win this week. So hopefully got that information. We got the Bills minus 14. Got the Chargers money line. We got the Packers money line against Dallas. We got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers plus 3.5. You got to get that to 3.5. You can't take it at 2.5 if it moves. Tampa Bay plus a field goal and a half point. Number 5, so that's after my top 4 picks. Texans money line. And number 6, Jacksonville plus 3.5. Again, do not take it at 2.5. I can see San Francisco winning by a field goal. That's where I see the game stopping. So 17-14, 2017, Jacksonville covers both of those. Let's take Jacksonville plus 3.5. And finally, just mentioned Panthers plus 7.5. You have to buy points on that too. If you can't buy points, do not take the Panthers. Do not take the Panthers plus 5. Don't take them plus 5.5. Those are dumb numbers. You're going to be screwed when you lose by 6. So I think that is it. I apologize for the delay. Back-to-back weeks where I couldn't really talk, so that's been interesting. I'm a big talker. Go get them. Enjoy the games. Let's get the Packers back on track, Steelers back on track, and who's my other team, Atlanta, man. I don't know about Atlanta. But they're favored this week for some reason, so maybe maybe I got some hope in the long run, but it doesn't look like my NFC champion bet is going to be alive. So we might start to rework a little future on the NFC side with some dogs we see starting to show themselves, so that they can make plays. It might be Tampa Bay, but they're already top 5 in the NFC favorite. So, all right, thanks for watching. Enjoy the games.